Hi, Hiiro.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Yeah,
Oh, I was like, oh, look at the light. I see the light on my track ceiling lights.
beautiful. Is it sunny in Vancouver or
Oh God, no, it's a gray as gray.
Fox?
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I could so use a silver fox right now. Seriously,
Silver Fox.
girl, I am so damn so dry. Mm.
Yeah,
Just
okay,
as dry as the California desert.
the Sahara. That's usually what's said, but yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. I thought it would make it just a little bit more, relatable.
that. That's true.
Hmm.
We might as well, I kind of, getting started with our episodes, introduce who the guest is or talk about them right away so people are not like, okay, they're just, having their own little private conversation here. Is this actually going to happen? Okay, we do have a guest on the show. Yes.
Yes, we do.
We'll
have a
do
guest on
some
the show.
schmoozing, just the two of us, but we do have the great. Now, I want to know if is he from Vancouver? Johnny.
No,
Okay.
he's not. No, he's not. He's actually from Kitchener, Ontario.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. But Jonny Staub was and is, I think, still correct with Virgin Radio, or is he?
Yes, he's with Virgin Radio right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's kind of elusive because
Mhm.
he doesn't have a website, as far as I could see.
Yeah, looking at his stuff right now, he doesn't at all. He's got an Instagram and a Twitter, and he's got, of course, like every other person, a Wikipedia page, I believe.
Exactly. So interestingly enough, so anyway, he's been a very successful DJ for a number of years,
Hmm.
and a bit of a TV personality and radio personality, obviously.
Hmm.
And I think what I was reading here, which is pretty cool, is he was the youngest DJ at 22 in a major time slot in Vancouver, which is like in Vancouver, BC, in Canada, which is huge. I mean, Vancouver is a big city in Canada, and at 22 years old, I mean, and I believe, yeah, so that was Z95, which was when I was, I feel like we're almost the same age, perhaps. Oh, he's a little bit older than me,
A little bit older. But oh my God, Zed was like everything in
Zed was
our childhood.
everything in
Everything.
Vancouver. Oh yeah,
Oh
it
my
was
God.
like popular pop station. I mean, there was rock in there too, and some alternative and stuff.
Yeah, but like Z effects, where you guess the sound effects of random objects and you try to call in, or like or what was the other one? Or the bumper stickers, where you can put the bumper stickers on your car, and if you got all three different colors, then you get prizes and stuff.
Totally forgot about those things.
Yeah.
And then I just remember some of the like later night shows they had, like was it Rona Raskin? What's her name? There was some like sex show they did.
Let's Talk Sex.
Maybe, but it's
Yeah.
the woman, I believe. And anyway, it was just like, it really defined my high school years. That's
Totally.
and
Totally.
yeah, so he was a big part of that, and he's kind of bounced around from different stations. And he's hosted Out TV's Let's Talk Sex, and I think, is that what you just said?
Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Yeah.
Right. So he's openly gay, and seems to be like a real someone just to look up to. He's very open and seems that he's open to being vulnerable, and that's kind of what we do on our podcast. So we're pretty stoked to have him and add something if you'd like, Hiiro. Sorry, I just kind of took that.
No, that's good. I'm glad you gave that little backfill. I'll talk about this before it comes on, because if he watches this podcast back after, he'll be like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Okay, so Johnny, I've always looked up to. And not only just being in Vancouver, but also someone that seems like it's a genuine, really good-hearted guy, which now I can clarify he definitely is, just based on what I've seen him portray himself to be and what his social media is all about. But no, when I was in high school, went to a small Jewish private high school, and in the library, when I would have my own independent time to do my work or my assignments and so forth, I would log on to our database, and I would actually go on, I think he might have been with the Beat 94.5 for a little bit. I think he was for a little bit, because I remember going to their website and actually going onto their internet radio, so you could live stream their radio. And so he would do the morning, kind of afternoon kind of segment. And so there would always be like the 9 or 10 songs that always cycle through. And it's really funny. I remember that Britney Spears' Break the Ice was, I that was trending at that time. And I think Shawty Get Loose as well. I think Lil Mama was in there as well. But anyways, my point is that I remember live chatting with him and saying, I love you so much. I look up to you a lot. I think you're
cool.
the most, handsome, adorable person. I'm in high school right now. You're talking and your radio gets me through my days at school. And I remember writing back saying, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing well. And, hang in there. I know it's tough, growing up gay and figuring it out and, but know that it's going to get better, things like that. And so I remember that really made a big impact in my association with who he was, but also knowing that there's people out there that are successful, that are doing what they love, and that are also queer and from Vancouver, and that you can be successful. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
You just reminded me back in those days, like, I know you're almost a whole decade younger than me, but did you ever have mixtapes, not CDs?
Yeah, cassettes and stuff weren't necessarily used, but I did have a tape player, and I did actually have it when I was like 5 or 6 to play music to help me sleep. Actually, that's what my experience was with CDs. Or see, again, I just said CDs, but with tapes.
That's okay. No, because I distinctly remember in high school, like listening to Zed and putting my cassette tape in the tape player and then waiting until my favorite song came on, but you're never really quite sure when it's going to come on. Then you press record, then you record the song, and then you stop because you don't really, no offense to the DJs, but you didn't really want their voices on there. You just wanted them.
Yeah.
And you pause, and then you wait for your next favorite song. And like, oh my God, it was a whole ordeal. Like you had to sit there and wait. And yeah, those times were fun.
And I want to talk to Jonny about that too, is the evolution of radio, the evolution of audio technology, how the evolution of being a host or being a co-host, and also with COVID, does that really change radio production, or does it not, because you usually have distance from each other anyway? There's a lot of things that I'm very curious about. Like, what do you want to ask him about? What are you curious to dive into?
I'm really I just because he was really in the music scene during the time that I was really got into music in high school and in Vancouver. I'm curious to know. Actually, funny enough, I worked for a short amount of time at Sarah McLachlan's record label called Network Records.
Yeah.
And oh my God, how old was I? I must have been in my mid-20s. So maybe just after he finished with Zed, I'm not quite sure. But again, with the evolution, I actually am really curious to know if now I almost would feel like radio is getting more popular now again because people are spending more time at home. And I don't know, like, I'm really curious. I do want to know about all those things, but I also really want to know about his life because he seems like a really interesting, cool, kind individual that is very, open about what he stands for. And obviously people have looked up to him like yourself. So, really curious to know where he's come from in his journey. And because people definitely have looked up to him in his life. So where has that led to him today? And is he back in Vancouver? Like, I don't even know.
Yeah, he's in Vancouver right now.
Yeah.
No, he is currently still, and for a long time right now, one of the active co-hosts of the morning show of Virgin.
That's what I thought. But again, like Googling Jonny, we'll have to ask him, he's a little bit elusive perhaps. But I did see one or two of his little interviews. So yeah, but
for sure.
Are you wearing pants today?
I'm wearing pants today. Yeah.
Okay.
I am. Yeah, I'm wearing fleece sweatpants that I slept in overnight.
Oh my goodness. Is it cold again?
Yes, it's cold.
The heat up in your apartment.
Yeah, it's up to like 10 or 15 degrees, believe it or not.
That's not very high.
Well, it was at 0 for a very long time. So
okay. We keep our house at like 21.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Interesting. It's weird. Like, I don't like being overly hot though, but I also don't like being overly cold. I like it, but just kind of like, Goldilocks to Three Bears, just right.
Fair enough.
Like, room temp.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Before he comes on.
What's on your lap?
I know. Hold on. I'm just trying to get. It's not this.
Is it a bottle of wine?
You heard the clang, didn't you?
Yeah, I heard the clang.
Hey, funny enough, they're sort of.
Is it a catalog?
It was.
So it's an empty bottle of wine that you drank last night all to yourself and you're lonesome.
No, funny enough, I actually haven't had wine in quite a while, but whiskey, on the other hand, no, it is not. But it used to be a bottle of wine. It is no longer a bottle of wine. So what is it now?
An empty bottle of wine?
That was just a bottle of wine.
A piggy bank?
No, but good guess.
Oh, a flower vase.
No, but also good guess.
A very uncomfortable fleshlight.
Oh, Jesus. No. Ouch. Absolutely.
And a piece of art. A reclaimed piece of glass.
Sort of. You're so close with the flower vase and then the reclaimed piece of art sitting.
A paintbrush holder.
No.
A
People do with wine bottles these days. I don't know if you've seen this, but you could buy them in stores.
A mason jar? A kombucha bottle?
No. Okay, you know what? Because what time is it? He'll be on
29.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
This is one of my favorite wineries up here that I used to work for, actually. Ready?
Oh, you turned into a wine glass? Oh, a candle!
No, it's I didn't do it. I bought it like this, but it's been cut and then obviously down. It's been filed, so it's not as ouchy.
Yeah. I've never seen that before. No, that's so cool.
I know this is a thing, Hiiro. This is a thing.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, it's really neat. Smells delicious.
I bet it does.
For doing that, so
amazing. Oh, look, he changed environments.
Connecting to audio still.
Aw.
Works.
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm holding my candle holder. Oh, there we go.
There he is.
Hi.
Hey, good morning. How are you, Johnny?
Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Sure.
My phone, for some reason, defaults to "Isn't She Lovely" by Stevie Wonder, which is always kind of fun. I'm like, okay, that's weird.
Incredible song. Incredible song.
Johnny, I just want to make sure that you know that we video this. You're
Great.
Cool. And we're already recording. I like to just let our guests know that. And we were just playing What's on Your Lap. So we're doing a new game now because everything is Zoom and no one sees, right? No one sees what's below your chesticles usually.
Yeah.
Playing like What's on Your Lap, or are you wearing pants? So anyway.
Well, you can see I was wearing pants. Yeah. And,
such a disappointment.
the whole world shudders. No,
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so funny. How are you?
I'm good. I just finished work. I had a couple of things that I have to do today, so I feel like now's my first time since 5 a.m. to be and have a nice discussion with you guys.
Oh.
Well, we're so happy that you came on the show, and thank you for being so gracious and receptive to when I reached out to you. It's really great to see you a little bit in person, I guess, through a screen, at least for now.
Thank you for having me. This is great. I can't wait to talk about all things Jewish.
We're talking to two bad Jews, so good luck.
I was hoping that you might have a cousin named Shlomo and go to the mikvah.
Oh my God, you're hilarious. Nah, I don't.
I don't as well, believe it or not. No. But name is pretty Jewish because it's Rachel Leah Rosen. And
Okay.
Rosen used to be Rosenzweig before my grandfather came to Canada, right? So that's because of being a Holocaust survivor. They did not like the ethnic sound of Rosenzweig, so he had to change it to Rosen. So
Steens and Bergs and all the above, yeah.
Exactly, right. And then the Bernsteins.
Oh, God. So we kind of did a little intro to you already prior to you hopping on.
Great.
And Hiiro was gushing a little bit because I don't know, Hiiro, you might as well just quickly tell the story maybe again.
Yeah, Johnny's like, what the fuck, dish?
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, well, no, I remember that I was saying to you when I was reaching out to you that, well, again, as a fellow queer man in Vancouver, it's nice to have people to look up to and to kind of admire from when you're growing up. And I remember being in high school, and I was in the library on the internet, and you were doing, I think were you with the Beat at a certain time, like in mid 2000s, late 2000s?
So I got there 2007, and then the Beat became Virgin in 2014, I think.
Okay, so that's why, right? So that's basically when you came on, and I remember that I was actually listening to your live cast, and I was on the live chat, and we were chatting a little bit, and telling you, yeah. And so I remember saying to you, like, dude, keep doing what you're doing, it's great. And I was like trying to flirt with you. Good luck. But you were just like, oh my God, like, thanks so much for your support. Hang in there. I know it's tough. It's gonna get better. Trust yourself. I know it's hard. Something like that. Yeah. And
I'm glad that was my response. I'm also really glad that I wasn't hitting on a teenage child, like when I'm clearly an adult. So that's good.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I'm far from being a teenager, so you're all good now. But but yeah, definitely, I was definitely a minor at that point. Not by much, but still a minor. Yeah. So anyway,
can you remember back to that time? Were you going through a pretty tough time when you were growing up, like at that stage?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, not that this is going to be the focus of our discussion, but I was in 10th. I think it was 10th grade, which is horrible for anybody. I can't hear anyone that was good in 10th grade. And then my brother passed from cancer a few years prior to that. So I was going through that. And then though I was completely out and gay, felt completely alone and not mentally in a place where I could commit suicide. And I never can. I just don't have the chemistry for that, thank God. But I would have had I had the ability to cause self-harm. So that's where I was at. And I relied on, media and queer media, and also listening to your streams every day, actually, to be honest, to get me through my days at school.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, that's so heartwarming. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, so but that's the truth though. Like, I don't bullshit. So then I started researching a little bit about you and just kind of knowing your history and what you were doing. And then of course you get older and you kind of forget about certain things, and radio wasn't as popular in the sense of, like, because I wasn't being driven in my mom's car, I wasn't much of a radio listener. So you kind of forget, and then you realize when you get a certain age, you're like, holy shit, like that was a huge part of my life. Why haven't I thought about that until now? And so that's kind of why I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to reach out to you on a whim and say, hey, another Vancouver queer individual, and have you on the show and just have a real conversation with myself and Rachel, and just have an ability to know how you're doing, where have you come from, and how did you get to where you are, and who are you beyond anything that people know you for? Just who are you at the core?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, first and foremost, thank you. And just let you know, like, there's no topic off the table, so you guys ask whatever you like. It's as much of an open book as I can make it.
Great.
Awesome. That's what we like to do.
I am too. Open heart, open mind, open soul. So
yeah,
cheers to that.
And with that being said, then I guess just diving right in, I first read, this is not a secret. I first read that you were the youngest DJ at 22 to be on a major radio station in Vancouver. Is that correct? Something like that?
Yeah, so I think I was 21 when I got hired in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I was working in Calgary. My boss from that station moved to Vancouver and then took me subsequently like 4 months later.
Wow.
And I was like the youngest person to do a major time slot at 21.
Amazing.
And sorry, like in Vancouver or like in, okay.
No, in Vancouver. I'm sure there's lots of way more talented people than me.
I doubt it. Not with your kind of heart and soul.
Yeah, I mean, and it was exciting. I mean, I was really young, and I was moving up the ladder very, very quickly. And then getting that beautiful title, I also got dismantled within 10 months and kicked off. So, yeah. So that's also part of that journey. Like, you hear about all these like success stories. You're like, oh yeah, and I'm young and I'm doing it. And I got drive and motivation, and then I got the axe.
Huh? And what was the reason for that specifically?
So I think there was a couple of things. I had mono at age 21, kissing too many Vancouver boys, I suppose. Mm-hmm. And I was off work during a pretty pivotal spring period. And when I came back, they let me go. I probably had some attitude issues. I probably was very high on myself at that time. Not probably, I was, you're doing this sharp incline without your family around, and I think I had a much bigger head than I deserved at that point.
Yeah.
And I think they really wanted to teach me a lesson, so they cut me dry, gave me 2 weeks severance, and I was like, whoa, what just happened? And it was like an absolute identity loss, because at that point, I started when I was 17, and then at around 21, like that was my identity and that was my acceptance. And after being bullied and treated differently all my life, I found something I was really good at, and then I wasn't worthy of that. And I think it really caused a huge identity crisis at that point in my life.
So
Absolutely.
how did you overcome that then? Or what was the next step after that? I mean, I'm sure it took a long time. I'm not going to,
Yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I had to like sell furniture to pay rent. I wasn't getting a lot of offers at that point to work anywhere else, especially in Vancouver. And I just saw this very slow decline. The only thing that really saved me was a weekend job and nighttime, like overnight. So starting at midnight till 5 a.m. in Edmonton.
Oh,
And I was like, oh no! But it was so good. It was actually it was a great experience. Although I do like to say I got sentenced to Edmonton because it's not my favorite place. It's there's a lot of beauty and the people are great, but I didn't love living that far north. Cold, and it was really far to get home to Ontario where my family is. So I liked Calgary better because there was nonstop flights, but Edmonton, you always had to hop on a couple of them.
that's true. Sorry, Alberta, but
It's lovely. They got great festivals, and the River Valley is beautiful. And like I said, the people there are just outstanding people.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure.
Sense. But it's interesting though, when you're talking about, there's always these silver linings, these blessings in disguises, right? And how you can have these other opportunities that don't necessarily add up to where you are now, but in some ways they're a part of how you got to where you are now as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's what, at this stage of my life, I'm more recognizing of. Like when I'm going through a hard time, I'm constantly looking for those silver linings. I'm like, okay, that didn't work out, but what am I learning from this? What is the lesson? What have I not learned, or what do I continue to not learn? I've got to keep looking for those, and I think that's been really helpful for anybody.
Oh yeah. Well, especially now.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, and sorry, go ahead.
I can say, I think with COVID, and I know everyone's tired of talking about COVID, but in a way, people have connected with their families more. You see a lot of like family Zoom nights of games, like from all across the country. You check in on friends differently. Maybe you learn to cook more. Like there's all these different things that happen from a pandemic like this. And maybe recognizing some things that still work for you and things that are just old script. And you're like, I just want to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, the amount of people that I know that, for example, have tried therapy for the first time in their lives, which to me is like incredibly positive. And incredibly helpful for those that have, or I mean, here when I talk a lot about mental health, because we both have a lot of mental health challenges, and we're
both fucked up.
Can I join?
Yes, can you please come over here? I got lots of space in my apartment.
Amazing.
Yes, okay, sure. We're both totally fucked up. Things as a human being is when it comes to. Anyway, okay, I lost my train of thought now. So no, I guess my point is that for the first time, we're starting to see people who have never maybe had these challenges or weren't open about having challenges or just weren't open to talking about them. Now it's being talked about. And so for me, like that, I think that's one of the most positive things that's come out of this whole thing. Although on the flip side, people are definitely dealing with more mental health challenges than they ever have before. So, there's a lot more, I guess, attempted suicide and those kinds of things that have been going on lately. So that's,
Yeah, and what you said too, a lot of these families aren't able to go to funerals and stuff. So it's like,
weddings.
Not that you die and want at that point the admiration, but I think that's also another moment to say, like, I shouldn't do this. Like, not everyone that loves me will even have a chance to say goodbye, or at least goodbye together, which we probably need during that time. And again, like if you are going through, if anyone's watching that's going through something really hard, and like, please reach out for help. Like that is definitely not the answer.
Absolutely. And just know more and more and more people are coming out saying you are not alone, because you're not alone.
Absolutely.
Nope.
So,
No, we're not alone. And it's important to identify the fact that there are so many ways to help and to outreach. And, this is kind of the blessing and the curse of social media platforms, is the ability to know there are supports out there. There are people that are there to help you. There are people on the street that are willing to help you too. If you just open up and you speak, regardless if they can't see your mouth, they're still going to know that something's wrong if they're at least kind of fucking awake, But people in Vancouver don't tend to really reach out to people a lot in the streets. If you look at them, it's like, why are you looking at me, you psychopath? Got to get away from me, right? Like, they don't really have that sense of connectedness. And that's hard when you feel like you're trying to reach out for help. And if you don't have the access to social media platforms and you're looking in person during a pandemic, where do you go? Where do you find the connection, right? People lean on different sources that might not be as effective or helpful.
That's right. And here, I'll give you a little radio story. This is great. It's speaking about people in Vancouver on the streets. We, was it last year or 2 years ago, we got like $1,000 to give away for Chinese New Year. And we put $5 bills in all these red envelopes. And my coworkers here in Molly, we sent them to the street. And I was in home base and they're trying to hand out these envelopes and be like, no. Or they take them and then try and throw them away. We're like, no, there's money in there. So like another good example, so we didn't do that again, mind you. But that's another great example. Like, even if you are trying to be helpful, sometimes you're not going to get the reaction that you want from people on the street. So I always encourage people, find that one person in your life, whether it's a friend or a teacher, a family member, also somebody that can hold the story, because not everyone has the capability of holding your story.
Yes.
And have that person that you can have on speed dial.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just said the exact same time.
Yeah. Like, I so agree. You're so right. Oh my God, life is good.
I just back. We're gonna flip flop a lot between years and time frames and stuff, because time's not linear. We'll just go back and forth.
Exactly.
So no, back to what you were saying about perhaps being humbled, I guess, by the fact that you were let go from Z95. I'm assuming that's what it was.
It. Yeah, you can say 5. Say 5. I was 5 years.
Okay, I don't know.
Like,
well, okay, this isn't what I was gonna say, but and I'll just age myself. I was born in '83, so in high school, I mean, Zed was everything. Was huge. Like I was saying to Hiiro before you hopped on, in the times of cassette tapes, I would put my cassette tape in my player and then hit record when the song came on and then paused it. And then, no offense to you, but I was saying the DJ's voices, I don't want their voices on there. Make sure it's the right timings, the song is finished. And then, you wait and it was a whole ordeal, right? It was a whole, the mixtape. And and Z95 was
huge.
Huge.
It was huge.
It was a huge goal of mine too when I moved to the West Coast from Ontario. I used to stream Zed and I was like, this is the best station ever. It sounds so fly. It is exactly what I want to do. I was like, I listen to their DJs. I try to emulate them. Yeah. Funny enough, you move to Vancouver, you get a job at Z95 and their studios are still in Richmond. So,
oh my God, I remember that.
Yeah. So it was and I did evenings, so it took me almost an hour to go in the flow of rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
To get there for a 6 o'clock shift. So I was actually kind of sad that it wasn't downtown because it was so Vancouver. And then it's in a shopping plaza. They're in Richmond. So
yeah, I remember that.
So funny.
Because on that note, I remember a few little asides that I have from Zed is that, because again, my brother and my mother and I, we all listen to Zed, and we used to go to school in Richmond. So we'd always listen on the way back in carpool, right? And so, of course, a couple of things that people know for Zed effects, huge contest, right? And so I remember calling, and I was 10, I don't know, using my mom's cell phone, and I was so excited to get through and to guess. And I'm freaking out on the phone, and then I'm like, Mom, I got it. And then I'm wait, but there's no effect to guess or whatever. And it's and then I put it on speaker. It's thank you for calling FedEx.
What?
And I'm thinking, what the fuck? So, you win some, you lose some. And the second one is was the bumper sticker challenge you guys had for several years. I mean, that was huge. Absolutely huge. That was such a childhood highlight for me.
I still can't believe that people would purposely drive through to McDonald's, get different colored stickers that matched for that week, and would put them and there's still, if you see some really old cars, sometimes you see them and that was marketing genius.
So genius.
I worked with the woman that actually did that whole promotion, and she was a great promotions director. Her name was Carrie, And still to this day, I'm like, I can't believe that you were able to get people to get 3 different colored stickers to slap on the back in order to qualify. Like, it was really, really genius.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, just had to mention that before I forget, because that was genius. Major memories of mine.
Absolutely. I think that what triggered for me is what you were talking about, wanting, not that he maybe having a bit of an attitude you were saying about like, now I've made it, and, your name is out there now for everybody. And then you were kicked down a notch. Well, it's funny. We actually just had a conversation or a chat with Jay Rodriguez, who's the OG Queer Eye guy, and he's phenomenal, such a great guy. And he was just talking about stories that people don't realize how fucking tough it is. It's not like someone just gives you a golden ticket and then it's like, okay, this is your life now. So he was telling a story which was crazy. He's like, I got this Queer Eye gig, and he was the youngest one on the whole team. And what did he say? Like, within a year after being on that show, it just blew up. And then they were on the cover of this magazine and that magazine, and he couldn't pay his rent still.
Yep.
After a year, he was being interviewed by, I think he said, like, Oprah wanted them and Ellen. And he's like, yeah, but I fucking, like, I couldn't, like, people don't see the behind the scenes and what's the reality. And they just put you on this shiny pedestal, where I think these days that's the mask is starting to be pulled off just because of social media and all those things.
It is.
So with that being said, like, at such a young age, because you said you were like 21 or so, and social media, was Facebook a thing then? Yeah.
No, definitely not.
At the end of my Edmonton sentence.
I could.
I love it.
I'd say 2006, 2007.
Yeah, it was 2006 when everyone went on.
Yeah, 2001 is when I worked, like, I think it was the summer of 2000 to 2000. No, I was there at 9/11, so it must have been 2001.
Okay. Yes, okay.
Yeah, I was on the air at Zed when that happened, which was also a really interesting time. It's interesting that, like, my career, I've been there. I was on the air when Michael Jackson died. I was on the air when Anna Nicole Smith died. Like, I actually got to break news to a top 40 audience, a young listening audience, at many points in my career, right? So it's interesting. It's like my Dateline timeline. I can always tell, like, where was I when this happened? Because I remember what station I was at, because I had to talk about it.
Yeah. So I feel like you seem like a pretty humble guy, and a pretty, like, I don't know, maybe you're not, but you seem like you appear that way. So I feel like did that experience kind of kick you in the pants right away, and you've kind of tried to, yeah,
I don't think I would be the person I am today without some of those harder experiences, and that's the times we talk about. But definitely, you still want to have your spice, you still want to have fun, but I learned a long time ago, your talent level has to exceed your bullshit level, and if it changes, you're in trouble. So it really made me work on that ego a lot better.
I like that.
That's interesting. And to touch on that, when you talk about the ego, would you say that you have an ego, or would you say that you have an ego that's in balance with everything else in your life? Because it's very easy for people to have an ego and kind of have it be elevated and maybe justified at that. But also, where do you find you are in the balance, and what are some lessons you've learned through these years as you've matured, right? Like, but it's true though. Like, it's just reality.
We all have egos.
It's healthy to have one.
It is, I would love to say it's in balance. No, I have to work on it all the time. I wish I was like calm, easygoing, pleasant, that, I didn't get hurt or offended. I honestly have to check myself often, and if I'm like, they did me wrong, or I feel angry, I have to be like, that's your ego. It's not necessarily what is going on. So I have to really work at it. Not to say that I've got some giant head. I certainly recognize my confidences and the things I'm good at. But, ego, it's still an ongoing process. I don't know if I'll ever master it, honestly. It's a tough one.
It's kind of, I don't even know if we should want to master it, because it's like, then what is going to keep you humble? What is going to bring you back is kind of like the ego, when it does kind of pop up and rear its ugly head. It's like, well, you got to keep learning from certain lessons. So that's kind of it's almost sort of nice to have it there all the time, a little bit.
Yeah. And I think the
complete asshole, but
yeah, when it comes to ego too, the ego says, like, I'm different, I'm unique, I'm this and that, which are all true.
Yeah.
But your ego also has to quiet down for you to remember, I'm the same as you. I have the same hurts. I can hurt other people. I'm capable of all the other things that other people do as well. And so that's where you have to really get your ego in check, at least in my opinion, so that if someone does hurt you or betray you or disappoint you, instead of taking it so personally, you can be like, we are all under the same system. So
yeah. For me, it's like, and I was just going to say, sorry, I keep hopping in here, but there's a lot to be said. And I feel like you kind of touched on this a little bit about being bullied as a younger kid, and both, I mean, I can attest to that. I think a lot of people can attest to that, but on different levels. But hard not to want to go back to that period and react like that younger self, right? With the trauma that you experienced, perhaps. So tell me a bit about Jonny as a kid, or how did you, I don't know, maybe Hiiro wanted to ask this question too, but like, how did you really get to wanting to be on radio? Like, I'm sure there was a process or what you did.
Little Jonny, I can speak before even radio. Little Jonny is a very sensitive soul that is still in this human giant 41-year-old body. Very sensitive, artistic, not very coordinated per se, learned very differently than most children. So I, not a learning disability, just the ability to learn differently. Mm-hmm. But I'm an oddball, and that's okay. It's great. Cheers.
That's what I love about it.
Yeah, right. I can make the different voices, and I could pick up on tones in people and emulate them and mimic. And so I'm kind of a bit of a weirdo. But also, again, didn't have like specifically a talent set that some people are great at math or languages, or they know ahead of time that they have some real specialty. My specialty was just kind of being myself, which sounds like a Kardashian, but it's not.
It's not. I get it.
So when I got to high school, it's one of my favorite stories ever. I was the only class I did well in was like drama and marketing. I was going to go into college for marketing. My mother was like, "Do not. This is not you. You are a creative person." My dad was like, "Don't go into the creative arts. Go into business." So big confliction. And when I was in my last year of high school, I did morning announcements, and it was on Wednesdays. And again, the story, it holds true. One of the homeroom teachers that wasn't my own said to me, "Whenever you do Wednesday morning announcements, it's the only time that my students listen. They sit and they listen."
Oh.
Have you ever thought about radio? And I loved the radio growing up. I did homework to it. And so I looked it up in the pamphlets in my, the office where you could kind of like learn. What's the guidance counselor office?
Yes.
It's been a while.
It's okay.
Yeah, so I looked it up and it was like dental hygiene, the concept of the English language. I was like, great, no math or science. I'm in. Mm-hmm. And so I applied to 5 different colleges, did all of my dossiers and portfolios, and got into, I think, 3 out of the 5.
Wow.
Awesome.
It's amazing. And you got into them for?
So I took the radio and television program at Conestoga College. I was 17. I just graduated high school in June, started in September. I was one of the younger people in my class, so I was 17. But I really wanted to do television. I loved like Much Music and MTV. But again, I had big ears, and I had a lot of acne at the time. So they're like, no. But radio, I could do radio. Good acne face, big ears, right. So that was good. Yeah. Right.
No, for sure. And one thing I wanted to say as well, kind of about touching about your childhood, is that I don't know if people have said this too, but again, I'm a total weirdo too, and I say shit that people don't think about. But the first time that you came onto camera this morning, and I looked into your eyes, even though cameras are hard to perceive, I see you as you were born.
Oh.
I can see through you in a meaningful way, and I can see little Jonny right now, and in the way you described how you saw yourself as a smaller child, I can see that spirit right now. That no time has passed, you are who you are, and you're a culmination of the experiences that are right now. And that spirit is definitely in you. I can see it. There's
Wow.
there's a lightness there. And I just saw them like, yeah, that's him. This is him right now.
Wow, that's like, woo.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's
I got entranced by that. I'm like,
No, I see you.
Rachel,
I
has he
feel
ever
you.
said that about any other guests? Rachel, has he said about any other guests?
well, let's see. Who do we have on last week? Yes. No, just kidding.
No. Yeah.
No, he really hasn't. That's why I got stopped in my tracks. I was like, what is he? What?
That's a really beautiful thing to say, and I take that very, very gently and warmly. So thank you, Hiiro. That means a lot. I think for a lot of us and those watching right now too, there's been times in our lives where we want to be something different. I don't want these quote unquote gifts. I want someone else's gifts. I want to be something different.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you just kind of lean into like, no, this is who I am. This is who runs the world. This is who puts their face out there. This is who I am. I'm not gonna try and put all these masks on or try and
Yeah.
or not. And the more you do that, the more in alignment.
It shows.
Well, it's funny. It's interesting because I've spent a lot of this pandemic time, we'll just put it that way, really looking. I mean, a lot of us have looked inwards more than we probably have wanted to as well, but realizing that I've spent my whole life pretty much thinking that being an overly sensitive person was such a negative thing that I've always tried to push myself so hard to be that extrovert, even though I pretty much have been uncomfortable doing it my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has not been comfortable, but I've pushed myself and pushed myself and pushed myself. And, you know, there's such a, for some reason, there's an idea around being overly sensitive that is, that means that you basically have like a broken leg, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Like, I don't know who taught us these things. I don't know that's not strength. Like it's a weakness. I don't know if you can attest to that or you can, if that's a familiar sense feeling, but cause you did mention the fact that you're a person. So
as my, I still call her my mother-in-law. As my mother-in-law says, she's like, you're a very sensitive person. And all my life I have been. It's not a secret.
Me too.
I hold it as a badge of honor. Now, mind you, for those of us that are very easily taken down when we're sensitive, there is some personal responsibility to put up a bit of a veneer, a see-through one, so you still see me, but a protective veneer is still part of your accountability. You still have to be accountable. But no, being sensitive is great. You're so in tune, and it's a beautiful thing. And yes, it does sometimes feels like dragging your broken leg, but certainly at least you got a leg.
right.
Exactly. Hopefully several.
So I celebrate all of us that are the super sensitive souls, because we are the ones that really truly kind of float and see. We float and see a lot more.
No, you're right though. And again, my mom was always such to me like Hiiro, you're an HSP, like you're a hypersensitive person. And I am. My anxiety and my mental health have been such a huge part. God, my hand looks weird like that. It's been such a huge concept of understanding how you show up in the world. And one of the gifts I've had to learn that is what I have, and I think you can attest to this too. I think all three of us can, is the ability to see someone as they are, to acknowledge what they are and how you see them from your own perception, whether if they see it or not, but you are not afraid to be vulnerable and raw because that's how you are. That's honestly how you are. And a lot of people are not like that at all. So you just need to own the fact that you are like that and that it's a gift, and that if people don't understand it or want to take you down, which I've been burned many times because of just being myself, maybe you have too, fuck them, because they're not ready to receive love from the way that you've received it by yourself or from those that have raised you to be the way you are.
Absolutely. I say run. Just because you're sensitive and you're in tune and you can tell and you accept does not mean that I have to accept you. I can see you. I can see you for who you are. I do not need to take you on.
Exactly.
Go the other direction. And that is perfectly okay.
Totally okay. Let them do their own journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what I wanted to also ask you, because you were talking about, again, your childhood, and I do want to know more about your childhood and your parents or family, the school system, you're living in Ontario, and then also I don't like saying someone's identity, but in terms of your sexuality, gender, your image, your self of who you are, I mean, we're unpacking a lot of things here. Of course, we're untucking a lot, but at the same time, I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious to know, who are you? We know a little bit about your career right now, and we'll come back to it. But let's kind of segue back into, before I was even alive. What was it like for you before I popped out of my mom's womb?
Don't make him feel old, Jesus.
Age is just a number. Age is just a number.
I'm way closer. I'm only a couple years younger than you, Johnny. So I'm with you. Mm-hmm. This is spring chicken. I don't know. Is on the screen.
Oh fuck no, I'm an old soul bitch. I feel like I'm already decrepit and dead. I'm turning 29 in 3 weeks. I feel like I'm turning 45, so don't even get me started, as I said.
Oh, that's great. You know what? I just turned 41 and I feel 29 sometimes.
Awesome.
Exactly. So we're meeting in the middle. Perfect. It's like Benjamin Button style.
I was born in the 70s. I grew up outside of Windsor, Ontario. My mom and dad were married for 17 years. And I have an older sister who is kind of like a non-conforming. She's female, but non-conforming. Mm-hmm. She's great. So we grew up all together as a family unit. And then when I was 7, we moved from that area to London, Ontario. So as a kid, it's kind of tough. I don't really know when people say, where are you from? I'm like, I kind of moved in the formative years. So born and raised in a very loving, extended family all around Windsor, Ontario. The story goes that I found out later in life, my parents were separating, were having a hard time when I was in grade 2. And part of that was that my paternal grandparents and my father made a lot of decisions, and my mom was along for the ride. And she was like, that's not marriage. We need to get away from your parents, and we need to start our own lives, or else the marriage is over. So they decided to own a business in London, Ontario. They moved us out there. We had no family. I had no friends. I'd never been to London. So that part of going to a whole new city, going to a new school system. I was raised in the Catholic school system. I had and again, being a kind of bizarre kid, and I didn't really have like a sport that I played or anything. So I didn't make friends easily. I got teased a lot. And yeah, that's a pretty traumatic time in my life too, where it's kind of like all the foundations were rocked. My mother was really unhappy. Again, I didn't know what was going on, but that was the story that I learned later. But that decision really changed the trajectory of my sister and I, as we had to redo all of our lives along with this little family unit. They ended up getting divorced when I was in grade 8. And subsequently, my dad's been married 3 times now, and my mom's been married twice.
I see. Interesting. Yeah. And then when did you make your way out west? How old were you? You said 20?
I was about to turn 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was in college. I was a 3-year program. At the beginning of the 3rd year, I had been working at a radio station locally, and it was a big station too. It was like one of the biggest radio stations in Kitchener-Waterloo, which is just outside of Toronto.
Yeah.
I was moving up the ranks. I did the traffic reports, and then I did weekends. I did late nights, and finally there was a job offer for Vernon. So I applied.
Did you say Vernon?
Vernon, BC.
That's where I live. That's where I am right now.
So a long time ago, there was a station called 94 CJIB.
I've only been here for 3 years.
Okay.
So sorry, but my husband and I moved from Vancouver 3.5 years ago because we were just fucking sick of the big city.
Yeah. Thanks guys. Thanks for leading me in the mainland.
I miss you. I really do. I miss, shut up. Okay, Hiiro doesn't exist right now. I love you. But no, yeah, anyway, I love the Okanagan. I mean, we wanted a house. We wanted just a slower pace of life. But anyway, yes.
Yeah. I was there before the Walmart, because that was we didn't like Walmart, small businesses. And I don't know if it's still there, Red Top Grocery and Footwear.
It's just a boot store now. It's no grocery. It's a great shoe store, actually.
So when I was there, it was called Red Top Grocery and Footwear.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it was. I left Ontario. I never lived outside my mother's home. Moved on my own at age 18. had to find an apartment, had to do all this stuff. Like I had no help. I mean, people at the radio station helped me, but I didn't know what I was doing, and moved to this like Wonka. I was like, where am I? It's beautiful mountains, but I was really confused. The only thing open at night was Boston Pizza and 7-Eleven. Yeah, I was like, where am I? I had no clue what I was doing.
Wow.
But it was great. It was like boot camp.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, and how long were you in Vernon for then?
So I signed for a year, and then within 6 months, a boss that has followed me to this day, his name is James, he heard me traveling through the Okanagan, driving from Kelowna to, I think, Calgary or Edmonton. And he had heard me on the air, and they had an opening in Calgary.
Oh, wow.
And I said yes to the job in Bergen. They said, listen, sometimes people treat us like a farming team. They try and pluck our talent. You know, if a big city came, would you take the job? I said, oh, no, sir. I am devoted to the... Please. So I got the call in March. I got there September, left by March.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
And went to Calgary. So then I was in Calgary.
Yep.
From Calgary, that's when I got hired to Z95 in Vancouver. 10 months later, got fired. To Edmonton for 5 years. Then back to Vancouver now for 13.
Wow. So so then you went back to the station that was Z, correct?
No, so
What's that?
Sorry. Virgin and Z had an affiliation.
Okay.
My company, Bell, bought they bought the Virgin brands, and they put it onto the Beat.
Right. Yes.
So we kind of removed it. So I never went back to Z, although I went to Virgin. It's kind of convoluted, but yeah.
Yeah, I remember that because there was a rebranding process that was happening for a while, and it was like, Crave 94. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, this is so not. So this is so not right. This is so not right. So then it was like, oh, it's the new Z. I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah. And I think we all really loved the Beat brand. It was so fun and vibrant. Virgin brand was just new, and we had to adjust to it, just like any changes. But we've been Virgin now for about 6 years, 7 years.
Yeah, that's right. And also, what's interesting is that, again, when my brother was alive, the only thing that Zach, my brother, and I shared in common was gaming. And where the Beat office is now, if it's still there, was a video game arcade called Score. And that building is where we would go all the time. My mom would drive us, and we'd have our game cards and play these. So when I saw the Beat was, I'm like, amazing how space has evolved. This is crazy. You guys are still down near Concord Pacific, right? Am I mistaken? Am I confusing that?
You know what? The building has been demolished. Sadly.
Oh.
Yeah.
How do I not know that? I live like around the corner. Anyways, okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So interestingly enough, those offices were the Vancouver Grizzly offices. So when you went to the Beat, they had like paws on them.
Oh, really?
Old ownership, yeah. And they were beautiful. I remember before she was my co-host, I met Nira there once, and I was like, you oversaw Science World and all that area. No, it's since been demolished. We moved to West 2nd for a while, and now we're right above the Victoria's Secret on Burrard and Robson.
No way. That's crazy. So I'm at Smythe and Richards, so I'm just a few blocks away. But I didn't clue into that you guys were above there. That's so close by.
Yeah.
You were at one point then fairly close to Network. No? Network?
Yeah. Yes.
West 2nd, yeah.
Yeah, because I worked at Network for a short amount of time. So I have a little bit of experience in the music industry. A little bit. I actually
a schmeckle amount.
A schmeckle amount. A little bit. But during the time that I was actually there was when Terry McBride was refocusing to yoga, or refocusing on yoga, why yoga? And then people were being laid off and things were changing in the industry. So my question is, you've seen a lot of that change, a lot throughout the years. So
the evolution,
like what has happened, just because we're going to get to today's day, what's happened with the pandemic? Like what the hell are you guys doing now? Are you going into the office? And not only that, I was thinking, is radio becoming more popular now because more people are at home? And I don't know, like, I was just wondering
what's the trend in the history
on.
I mean, I'm not the expert. I'm more of the on-air person, but I can certainly give you my opinion on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah, I think radio has been one of those really selective media that has remained free. You don't have to give your data to use it. You have to sit through commercials is the sad part for the listener, although we try and make them entertaining so you'll buy the product. But it's still one of the last remaining free mediums, and it's still one of the last remaining local ways, right? Like you can listen to a podcast that's based out of Minneapolis or something, or different music on a Spotify playlist, but you certainly miss out on certain local aspects of it. So for us, we've seen an uptick, which has been like awesome because radio has been in a decline. We know that. It's certainly a contracting industry, not an expanding one. However, they are finding new expansive ways to connect our audience back in or utilize different platforms, whether it's like we're with iHeartRadio, there's all these different podcasting platforms.
Right.
You can stream through the iHeartRadio app, any one of our 147 radio stations. There's just like all different ways. When it comes to the studios, one of us is working from home every day. So,
okay.
Which I prefer. I don't like being in studios, to be honest. I love working from home.
I bet. Sorry, and is the one you that's working from home? Or
no?
You must cycle.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's interesting because I think, the women that I work with are awesome. They, if I'm being truly honest, though, when they're at home, you got to remember they have children.
Right.
Their children know they're at home. So they don't they probably enjoy more. This is just I don't think I'm wrong on this. I think they enjoy the fact they get to drive by themselves.
Yep.
Get some time with some adults. Have more time to drive by themselves with a little bit of alone time.
Yeah. And
then go back to being mommy. I think if they didn't have children, that maybe they were like a daycare or something. It would be a much more pleasant experience because it's a bit quieter. It's nice. But if you have children running around and a husband trying to, help out and you can't really help because you're on the air, I'm sure it's a lot more stressful than my situation. I'm like, Jordan's sleeping. I'm in a room with coffee. It's enjoyable. It's like being in a mikvah. It's just
love it.
It's just fabulous. Yeah. So.
Oh, I love that.
Did you grow up with a lot of Jewish friends?
No, but I'm intrigued by the culture. I just love it. I like Maya Bialik, one of your leaders.
I love her.
I love Maya Bialik, and
Me too.
I love everyone's cultures. I love learning about Italian culture. So with you guys, I know the challah bread, and you get these beautiful candelabras known as the menorah.
Right.
Like it's fantastic. I love Jewish culture.
Well, that's great. We actually had a guest. I know Rachel's going to talk about this.
To say that.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. Aquarian minds think alike. About a couple, maybe like 6 weeks ago, we had a guest on Idan Chabasov, who is the challah prince, and he lives in Berlin, and he's from Israel originally. So he would talk about the challah and about Jewish traditions and stuff. So that's of interest to you, and you haven't checked that out. I think you might appreciate it. And he's also queer, which is really neat too. So he talks about his coming out in Israel and in Europe and kind of all those different things that go on with culture and clash of identity. So he's a really cool guy to check out.
I can't wait to see his bread designs because we can braid good if you're queer. So he's got that.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. I have no psychomotor skills or anything like that. So he's great. But you know what? Yeah, we know how to use our hands. We're very dexterous.
Yes. And I love a good kosher product. So you know what I mean? Yeah.
Hilarious.
I always wanted to meet like an old lady that's like, come on, Morty. Like, I just love that kind of. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's so funny.
Met my grandfather. Holy Toledo, that man. He's and he would flirt with all the waitresses and the restaurants and was just so open to like telling all of his stories all the time. And that generation is missed for sure.
Yeah, I have such mad respect for it. So and interestingly enough, can I tell you this really quickly? I had a psychic appointment for my birthday. My boyfriend bought it for me because every year I go to a psychic. And she was asking about him, and she's like, "Hold on, wait a second, I'm having a vision," that type of thing. And she's like, "He was like oh my gosh, what's the word? A cantor. Do you guys know what a cantor is?"
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
She's like, "Yeah, it's the clearest vision. Does your boyfriend sing?" I'm like, "Badly." Perform? I'm like, "No." She's like, "He was a cantor." And I'm like, "What?" So then I go, "Hey, Jordan, do you know you were a cantor?" He goes, "The horse with the man?" I said, "No, that's a centaur." And you got the ringlets and the yeah. So
Oh my gosh.
So I feel like now I'm also dating a Jewish man from a
Right. Right. And but he's from a past life. I was gonna say because that was my next question. Is he also Jewish? But I'm guessing not.
Yeah, I mean, if you look down his pants, Jewish.
Right.
But,
exactly. That's what matters. Trust me. That's what matters. Yeah. Yeah. Always a snip. Always. I can't stand men that are uncircumcised. Sorry, gentlemen. It's not your fault. This is how I was fucked up in my religion.
Oh wow. Clean.
Yeah, exactly. So much easier. It's just like ready to go out of the chute. Perfect.
Oh, I like both. You know what? I'll take whatever way it comes.
Right, exactly. Love it.
You know what the word schmeckel is?
No.
Okay,
Penis.
so that's your Jewish word. It means penis. Schmeckel.
You're schmeckel.
You're schmeckel.
Oh my god! You see, so on radio, it's funny. You try and find like different ways to say things.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
I would never call somebody a bitch or
No.
slut. I'd like, you Jezebel. You know, you try and find like,
Yes.
I can say schmeckel. Well, he got his schmeckel out.
Yeah, exactly. And you said it perfectly. And there's many different ways of saying penis or cock in Yiddish. Like there's like 20 different ways to do it. So just Google it and you'll get a lot of good vocabulary.
Schmeckel. I'll remember.
Schmeckel is the most common, I think. Schmeckel, and that's our favorite word. So
and schmegegi is the other one that's very common as well.
Schmegegi?
Schmegegi. Yep.
that just sounds like there's something wrong with it.
Yeah, I don't, but they all mean different things. One's like a little bit, like Schmeckel's like a small penis, like a cute little amount. And then like there's other ones that are like, I don't know, it's gross or it's a lot. Like there's different intonations in every word that you can describe.
Yeah. Schmegegi just sounds like a discharge of some sort.
Ish dick. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. But schmeckel, I promise you, I will use it on the air in the next month.
Okay, I love it.
Totally will.
Yeah,
And then
schmeckel showing or schmeckel.
I love it. And then Holly and Nira are gonna look and be like, "What the fuck?"
It's Jewish.
Yeah, exactly. I learned it from the Getting Juicy podcast. What do you expect?
You know it.
Yeah.
God, so you have a partner that you're with. It sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. For how long have you been together?
So we went.
Yoda, for how long have you been together?
How long have you been together? We met February 20th. Last year, that was the first date we went on. It was just a quick little coffee date and a nice little walk around Queen Elizabeth Park.
Nice.
And, I went on a couple of Tinder dates. He was the very first one I went on after my separation. And, like, proper date. And,
Yep.
And then the pandemic was kind of happening. And honestly, like, the moment I met him, I was immediately attracted to him. Just everything. I was like, whoa, I feel like something I haven't felt in a really long time.
Oh, that's so nice. So that's very interesting timing with the pandemic.
Yeah, you get to know somebody.
Oh, you totally do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
That's true.
I kind of liked it. Jordan is a lot, he's much more introverted than I am, but I'm also like an introverted extrovert. So it was really nice to have some one-on-one time, grow with somebody. He's also a divorcee. So while I was going through my process, he was able to, because I kept saying to him, like, listen, I don't need someone to save me. I just need someone to stand by me. So if you're okay with that role, then this is good. If not, maybe I should be on my own or whatever the case is. Such a beautiful job, masterful job, making sure that he was supportive without saving.
Aw.
Amazing. And what a beautiful foundation as well to grow a new relationship out of a relationship that might have not been working at the time that it chose to separate as well. I mean, it's a lot. And especially and I don't want to, I guess, train of thought has gone out from my head, but I don't want to put queer relationships under the microscope in a sense, but I almost feel a sense of pain or a sense of greater loss when you see queer relationships that maybe don't work out in a sense, Yeah,
I think because we're already starting off, and this doesn't sound victim-y, but it's like we're already starting with a bit of a disadvantage. I don't know. I'm not quite. I'm sure that straight people also feel pain, like divorce or a breakup. Like they're all very, very challenging. But we certainly feel a little bit more alone as a queer person. When you meet another person who feels alone, and together we will not be alone.
Right.
And you're alone. You're like, this is a harder place to start back up from. There's probably less people available on an app that want to be with a man versus like straight relationships. Maybe that's
Right.
kind of who you're talking to.
Yeah, exactly. But in Vancouver, I've also been getting more and more insights that, Vancouver, for anybody, it's a very hard city to meet people in. And me being someone that's dated a lot of people, even if it's just a single date, like you said, from Tinder or Grindr, and not always Grindr, but any platform you could even meet someone, it's very challenging to have anything beyond the surface of conversation. And then for it to turn into something further than that. So I'm really proud of the fact that you met someone that transpired into that type of commonality and wavelength. And then for it to come to now, like that's a huge gift that was provided to both of you.
Yeah, I think it's also like you have to be with your tribe. Like there's a lot of good looking, fun, awesome guys out there that don't want to be in relationships.
I know many of them don't.
I'm a relationship guy. I like that solidness. I want to share with somebody, grow with somebody.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big key too. Like, oh, I've met a lot of good looking men, Hiiro. I was the Jezebel like you. But but they didn't necessarily want to date me. Like they, or like be exclusive with me. And it could be fun for a while, but certainly I was like, no, I want to find what I call my emergency contact. I want you to be the call. Like, that's what I want.
I hear you. I want a husband too, and I'm not going to stop. When you know that you're worthy of something, it's only a matter of time until someone finds you or you find each other. Whether it's, and hopefully in person, not over a freaking app, but
Oh God, Hiiro, this podcast, I don't know. You're gonna find someone. Something's gonna come out of this.
Oh yeah, someone's gonna see you and your eyes and see through you and see your child and be like, that's my man, and that's.
Exactly.
That's what's exciting, right? Like you just never know. Like had I not, gone through a separation that then became a divorce, but had I not been separated, like I might have never met Jordan. We are from the same hometown. Funny enough, we have dogs. There's a lot of commonalities. We have people that know each other back home, but I never bumped into him. I saw this really good-looking profile on Tinder. We both swiped right, and it turned out to be like, a really nice, like it wasn't, we're not sending dick pics. It was just, and then when we had our walk and I was like, wow, there's just some really, really nice energy here. And I know I just want more of it.
Yeah. And you just know, simple as that. And that's what my dad would always say to me. I'd always come over to my dad and say, I'd give my whole spiel, kind of similar to my way my mom's train of thought is. And he said, he's not right for you. This isn't going to work. And I'd always say, why? Because look at how much you've had to describe or justify or think about reasons why. You're going to know just by knowing, and you won't even have to tell me, not because I don't want to know, but I'll meet them when you know that you want me to meet them.
Totally. And the thing too in this relationship, I think we're both like a little bit hesitant. It's a weird, I don't know if it's divorce, I'm not sure what it is, but it might be age. We're like, he's just about to turn 40, I'm 41. We're stepping like gently because we're also like, there's no rush. But we're good enough to know, hey, if this weren't to work out, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's not like trying to have an exit plan. It's just one of those things where you're like, I just have to know deep down that I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Right. Maybe because it sounds like it could be a long-term thing. So.
Oh yeah. And like Rachel, how long have you been married?
Oh God, married. Look at like oy vey. Look at my face. Married for almost 7 years. Together for too long. 13 or 14 years. And actually Hiiro and I can talk about this on another show. But this year has been the most challenging year for my relationship ever. I'll just say that Hiiro knows all the background, but this year has definitely pulled off the layers of a lot of people's relationships that I know, like, queer, straight, whatever, whoever. And it's just people. And it's just been like, okay, if you're not ready to deal with this now, like it's just pulling back layers that maybe you never dealt with previously. And that's why I said like more people than I've ever heard of have been going to therapy. For the first time ever, we did a couples therapy session this year, which was amazing. And I'm not ashamed of saying that. I feel like, if any couple is going down that road of just being uncertain and been together for so long, that can be like a Hail Mary. It can be a saving grace. So, yeah, like,
well,
tough.
I applaud you guys. I think that's incredible. Like, no, it is. And you know, people have asked me before, you know, you hate marriage now that your first marriage didn't work. And I'm like, no. Like, I'm a huge believer in marriage. I think like when you're going through the rough patches, that's when you dig in, you do your work, you get like couples counseling. And, you know, and I think that's why it's also really hard when marriages do fall apart, whether they were meant to or not. But it's just that you know what it felt like walking down an aisle and making these promises in front of the people you love and all those things, right? So I always tell people, like, dig in as hard as you can with it, unless of course it's hurting, it's wrong, there's reasons to not be there. But if there's a reason to be there, just keep showing up.
Of course.
Absolutely.
And know that you tried, you know, we're not giving up. It's been a very difficult year. And like I said, for a lot of people, it's, you know, we both decided that we wanted to have different careers. So we both did that. It wasn't just one or the other. We both were at home for too long together, and just, you know, and we're also very, both of us very individual people. We're a couple, but we've always been very separate, as individuals. So I've never been that kind of, clingy person, and neither has he. So we've always kind of done our own thing. And anyway, but yeah.
Like, it must feel nice in a weird way to feel like you're not alone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I mean, yeah. And unfortunately, I know of couples that have split this year that I never saw coming. Never. You know, so it's been a hard year for sure. So for something to come out of this year for yourself, Jonny, and going through and having a relationship that seems to be thriving I think is rare.
Yeah,
to be honest.
It was interesting because I got separated in September, and, you know, like, of course, you're trying to work on things, but it was one of those, we were in a marriage counseling, and I was like, okay, if you're like moving out and like we're taking some time apart, I need to understand what the rules are here. I'm like, I'm about to turn 40. I was 39. I'm like, I'm about to turn 40. I'm not going to go with, like, you don't want to sleep with me anymore right now. That's fine. But if we're taking a break, I'm going to do my thing. I'm going to do me. I'm going to have a good time. Oh, and I did. It was great. I had a great time. But then when everything went down, it was actually a year ago today, January 12th.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that funny how life works out? So exactly a year ago today, I found out all the truth of what was going on. At that point, I was like completely done. There was no chance of reconciliation on my part. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, like, I was really sad, really shocked, really hurt, all the worst feelings in the world.
Right.
Yeah.
But I also recognized, like, okay, now it's go time. Like, you've been waiting too long. Now you know the truth. Now you know all the answers that you were searching for. So, okay, great. And then that's why I took the chance, like, 3 weeks later. I'm like, get a Tinder account, just do it. Do it.
Wow.
Yeah, we'd been separated for what, like 5 months at that point. And then when it came out, I was like, this is dumb. This is over. The only shitty thing is you have to wait until like next September to get officially legally divorced. Yeah. So when I was dating Jordan, I did feel a little bit like, I'm a married man with a boyfriend. I felt really good. Yeah, but like
scandalous though.
Yeah, totally.
So it was really, it was a weird time, but it was also kind of like, because one thing that came out, again, silver linings, a good thing that came out of it was, you know, when you keep asking someone to show up, like, I'm like, I need you, please show up. Like, even if they're there, sometimes, and we know this in family or friendships, when someone is physically there, but they're not there. So my big thing was show up, meet me halfway, meet me, 10%, just show up. So when I met Jordan and I recognized, oh, he has that natural, I show up. I was like, oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. That's silent protection, that silent confidence, and just knowing that there is something there that you know that you can lean back into a little bit.
Oh,
yeah.
If he's so nice and tall and when he hugs you, you just feel encompassed. Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
Is he on your Instagram account?
He is. So he actually doesn't have social media.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Yeah.
My husband does not either, which is he's never had it. He is so against it, which is funny because that's like what I do. And I'm also in marketing and stuff like that. So we're so opposite in that sense. But it's to the point where he's like, I can't put pictures of him up. So like, you will never see a picture of him on social media. Like he's not about that at all, which is sort of frustrating because now with the podcast, I'm like, I kind of want to, boast about you a little bit, but anyway.
Well, I guess it's everyone's comfort level, but I mean, you guys are married, and if it's like a very generous picture where you both look beautiful, I mean, I don't think anyone would have. Well, I could be wrong, but like maybe there's a chance that he would allow, like, where you'd be like, out of all these pictures, is there one that you feel is special and that you'd be okay with me sharing with our audience?
Yeah.
Same as me. Like I always would be. I'd ask Jordan, like, is this okay? He's like, yeah, it's all good, but he just doesn't like the feeling of scrolling. Doesn't like what it does. And I'm a big fan of, I'm like, yes, absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know what, as far as that's concerned too, I wanted to ask you, in addition to, of course, the love of your life, another love of your life is animals and dogs. And so I thought it would just kind of, in the time that we have together, just kind of ask you a little bit about that and your experience with animals and what you're doing with them now. And yeah, just that part of your life that's so fulfilling about who you are.
Yeah, so my ex-husband and I have had a dog since 2007 that I brought from Edmonton. I got him like a week before I left. So odd. But yeah, it was. Oh God, I'm gonna sound like one of those really old ladies that just can't keep her life together. But I was in a relationship with a guy. It had turned slightly abusive, and so it ended, and we had a dog together. And when that ended, he took that dog. It was originally my dog. He took the dog. Okay. He said, I feel badly that I've taken the dog. I purchased you a new dog. And he handed me a dog. And I was like, this dog doesn't like me. It didn't like me. It was a bad fit. So lo and behold, I'm about to leave for my Vancouver journey. I'm leaving Edmonton. I'm going to Vancouver. I'm in West Edmonton Mall, Phase 4, right by the HMV. And downstairs, this one, they did have puppies in windows. And by the way, I don't believe in it, but I felt like he needed me and I had to rescue him. He was a discounted dog on sale.
Oh,
no way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh.
So I met him and I went inside to the pet store, and I was like, I need to pick him up. And I held him and we just matched.
Oh my God.
So, lo and behold, I had some neighbors that loved the dog that hated me. They're like, oh, we've always wanted a purebred West. I'm like, and take it with you. Like, with the dog. Take it with you. They took that dog. Me and Wormy, we moved to Vancouver. Wow. And then Gus, who is, it's so funny. I swear I didn't have this set up, but like Gus and I, so Gus is my other dog. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that was us in Oregon last year. We rescued Gus from the SPCA in Squamish. And then when the separation happened, we were sharing back and forth. And it just required us to talk every week. At that point, I was just like, this isn't healthy for me to have to talk to you. I would like to take Gus, who was the big guy. I was like, I'll take Gus and Marie. But I said, I would like to have him, but ultimately I will allow you to make the choice.
Yep.
So let me just so we're all aware. I would love to have Gus. I would love to take him, but I'd like one of us or the other to have him. Because I don't want to talk to you. I'm sorry. Like that's not where I'm at. Yep. So he decided to take Gus. So Gus has been living with him, but I still get a chance to pick him up on weekends every once in a while. And my mother-in-law has been great. I coordinate with her, and so it's turned out to be okay. So those are my other two loves.
Amazing.
Aww, little schmeckle. I don't know.
And Jordan has a dog too. So Jordan has a big mastiff. Her name is Kitty. So sometimes we have 3, sometimes only 1, sometimes 2. So we have a little pet family.
Oh, that's so lovely. Well, we could talk to you forever, Jonny.
I feel badly. I feel like I've put you in all different circles here, guys. So I hope you have something to work with here.
Oh,
Oh my God, no, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's been absolutely a pleasure to have you grace us with your time. Especially, I mean, I'm just going to speak for myself, it's great to see someone that I've admired or that I've appreciated for what they've done in our community and also in the entertainment business, and someone that lives in Vancouver as well. I mean, I would love to hopefully encounter you in person one day sooner than later and actually get to know you a bit better. I think it'd be really cool.
Oh, absolutely. Especially like once this darn pandemic is over, it will allow for some new opportunities. But again, when we talk about opportunities, thank you for allowing me to share this morning and to share with your audience. And hopefully we can all keep learning and growing together. Mazel tov.
Amazing. Fantastic.
You got to say L'chaim.
L'chaim.
Chaim.
Chaim. You got it.
Chaim. Yeah.
Exactly.
Chaim.
Yeah, and to that we drink our water or whatever the hell you're drinking.
Oh, I had my coffee. But Jonny, there's one more very important question that we like to ask our guests. It's the most important question of the entire, I was going to say interview, but I don't like using that word interview.
It's a chat.
The chat, with our chat. If you were a fruit juice, actually a juice, not even a fruit juice, a juice, what would you be and why?
The first one that came to mind was grape.
Oh, that's new.
Grape drink. I love me a grape drink. I feel like because grapes, funny. They're connected to wine.
Yep.
And also like there's something to be said about having like on a hot day, like a nice, it could be a white grape, it could be a purple grape, like a nice quenched Welch's, like that is And also, if you have protein powder, you can mix there's peanut butter protein with some grape juice. I'm telling you, it tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So
that sounds amazing. Being anaphylactic to peanuts, I would just be dead in a second. But my God, that sounds delicious.
Hiiro, not for you.
Yeah, I know. Men out there, your nuts are fine, but anything else, I can't. You're gonna kill me. So don't give me that kiss of death, please.
Was meant to be Jewish, maybe because the kosher Manischewitz, or the wine that he knew what I was going to say. So on a Passover table, or on a table do they do this with on Friday too, Hiiro, with the wine? Or is it just?
Not if I know. I'm a horrible Jew. What do I know?
I don't know. There's a Jewish wine called Manischewitz, and it's a very sweet wine. And so for certain holidays, specifically Passover, we'll sip it during the service, or the Seder, we'll sip the wine. But the kids, or those that don't drink, it's always grape juice. And it's usually Welch's, and it's always...
So it's like, honestly, almost like an ice wine for those other people, and the rest of us get grape juice.
Yes, like a port.
Like a port.
Yeah.
Oh God, I love Jewish people.
I know, you gotta go find someone to do a Seder with. You get 4 glasses of wine before you even have dinner.
That's great. And you read backwards, don't you? Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
that's
I will go get myself some grape juice.
Yeah.
Think of you and toast to you. And again, guys, thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, John.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. And I can't wait to connect with you in person when this is all, said and done. And all the best. Is there anything you want to leave with the viewers that would listen to this? Anything you want to plug or give a shout out to? This would be a great chance for you to do that as well.
I would like to give a shout out to all of the highly sensitive people that took their time to watch and listen and learn and grow and know that you have value and worth and you're beautiful just the way you are. And that's what I was
Oh my God, can I hug you right now? Oh,
let's just do that.
Oh, seriously.
Beautiful.
My God. You are, oh my God. All right.
And don't forget to hit like and subscribe. No, I'm not.
Well, we would love to have people subscribe and to follow us on Instagram at getting_juicy and Getting Juicy with Rachel and Hiiro on YouTube. That would be really helpful for us and all of our growth.
You guys then. Yes.
Thanks, John.
You got it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and all the best, and we'll be in touch very soon.
Yep.
You guys.
Take care. Be safe. Thanks.
Bye.